So our bracket needs to be, holy crap. All right, so our bracket needs to, son of a bitch. Okay, so our bracket needs to be, so it's 7 and that will need to be, at the back edge it needs to be, so our front piece is going to have to be, so that's what our side pieces of our bracket is going to look like. 6 3/8 in the front, 2 1/2 back here, 7 3/8 front to back. Is that wide enough for this? No, it's not. I just saw another flaw in this plan. Shit. I'm dying. This is fighting me. I thought I had a good plan. Okay, I think that'll work. It's just coming up with the freaking... Well, my initial plan went to crap. Didn't work out, had to start over. But it wasn't completely useless though, because I took a whole lot of measurements from where it was at, and then I went in, sat down with the CAD program, kind of designed this up, and gave me an idea of what I think will fit in there. Measuring underneath and where everything is kind of difficult, so I couldn't really be 100% sure. I just did it to the best I could. But I took that CAD drawing and I made up this little cardboard version of that. And now we're going to take it and see if it fits, modify as needed, see what we can do, and see if we think it's going to work before we go to make it out of steel. Well, let's see how it goes. What are we hitting? We're hitting something already. We're hitting the nut stud combination where the rear radius tie rod end goes. So that's not going to work. It needs to go towards the passenger side, but we can't right now, so let's put it as close as we can. Mark where the stud is. So I also noticed while I was down there, I was a little close to the radius rod on this back corner for comfort. So basically I drew in this line here to modify the side of it, make it thinner. I think it'll still be plenty strong. It'll make it look better, I know that. But we'll cut this little curve out of it and we'll duplicate it on the other side later if this works. The other side's got plenty of clearance, so what we'll do is we'll make the right side bracket that I'm cutting here, we'll make it first, and if everything looks like it's going to work, we'll just duplicate that same bracket for the left side with the same cutout in it, just to keep it symmetrical. So now our mounting bracket has a little more curve to it here, and in this corner here this will give clearance for that tie rod end, and over here for the radius rod. I probably will take, when I duplicate it on this side, I'll probably extend them when I go to make it out of metal. I'll extend this down so it's a little more round at the bottom here rather than have that flat spot. That way it'll look better. So let's see if it'll fit in there now. I got clearance around the tie rod, I got clearance around the radius rod. I feel like this needs to be over. What are we hitting? Ah, shoot. Now we're hitting the bracket for the rear radius rod tie rod, and it's not letting it over far enough. This is just getting to be so much fun. Okay, all right, not what I want to do, but I'm going to have to do it a little differently. I'm going to have to take and make the pedal mount plates and the left side plate and the rear master cylinder plate, weld them together, weld that to my plate that's on the bottom of my cross member, and then this part over here, it looks like I'm going to have to weld two pieces, I'm gonna have to take and like weld a section of it, like this part of it, and then this part of it back here, and leave a big chunk open in the middle, and have to do some bracing in there. I think I can make it work that way, but that's the only way I can get it over far enough to the passenger side to mount the pedals where I want them. That's the plan. Let's start cutting some steel. Hey there YouTube, AJ here. It's 10 a.m. It's already heat index of 90 plus. It's gonna be a scorcher today. But we're out here trying to make a braking clutch pedal bracket yet. I got a little frustrated on the last video and haven't quit, haven't given up, just having to regroup. So I think I left off by saying I was gonna start cutting some steel, which I did. I cut these two pieces here and this piece here. I didn't show you that. I just needed some time alone to work without filming. Anyway, now we're getting ready to tack these three pieces together to basically make 3/4 of this bracket. We got the front plate, the left side plate, and the rear plate. This is the rear plate's where the master cylinder will bolt to, structural to hold it together, and then the front plate is where the pedal assembly will bolt to. Then underneath the car, we'll have to figure out what we can do for the right side structure because there's a bunch of crap in the way down there. So the goal is to tack this together, hopefully square, and then take it underneath the car, try to get it clamped into place, see if it's gonna fit right, and then see if we can brace the other side strong enough to make it all work. So let's get started by just tacking this thing together. Okay, well, I got this welded up. I welded the back part here pretty good. So I'm only going to be clamping there, and then I just more or less tacked the front part here. But I put some, I think it's got strong enough tacks that I can be able to mount the pedals and hang everything off of here and see how they're going to fit. Okay, so this should be really fun. Trying to balance and hold while pedals flop around and, you know, all this fun crap. Now, this was designed to fit out here. Oh, I gotta get that up over the, oh no. Oh no, tell me it's not so, son of a... No, that can't be. How did I miscalculate that? I may have gotten this pivot in the wrong place because it seems to be wanting to hit the frame rail. So this battle may continue longer than I want. Okay, it should be about right. Can we get, oh no, I'm gonna lose the strength on it. Shit. Alright, you stay here. Oh shit. Oh, that's not good either. This isn't going to work either. I drastically miscalculated something because this is where my master cylinder has to sit. This has to go up a little bit more yet. I can't believe that master cylinder is going to clear. What the hell happened? Alright, well that's not going to work. I don't know, guys. I might be heading for another freaking failure here. Pedal roughly in that position. I wanted it to be back about there. Does that plate just need to be higher?
Could be.
Okay, I'm gonna try something drastic for me. For a lot of people, this probably isn't drastic, but for me, it's a little drastic because I'm not used to welding upside down and I can't make good tacks and whatever. But here's what we're gonna try. We're gonna take these pedals off, cut this front plate off of the bracket because I think it just needs to go higher on the bracket after we cut that front plate off. I'm going to take the back plate and the side plate and I'm going to tack it onto the bottom plate of the cross member. We will start trying to build it in place. Wish me luck. So we got the master cylinder attached to our would-be bracket. Let's see if it fits, how it likes its position, etc. Man, it's going to be so freaking close. It's not a lot of clearance, but how far do we think that's going to pivot? Because I got about a 1/4 inch clearance. Do we have enough clearance? Where this is right now, I would say yes, but that's got to go up because this isn't welded and straight yet. And that's going to be really, really tight. It's going to have to go on the outside of it where I can gain a smidge. If we put it on the outside of the bottom plate, we should have enough clearance. How's that look for our pedal bracket though? Because that's going to move it another bit to the left. God, everything is just in the way of everything. I think we should still have room. So that's what we're going to have to do. We're going to have to mount this bracket to go around the outside of this bottom plate. And hopefully we can make that work. So let's go cut the front plate off. Let's see what we can do here. This is so much fun. Can't get a helmet under here. I'm gonna have to close my eyes and do the tacking, which I'm not great at. Shit. Got slag in the cup. Upside down, blind welding. Slag building down into the cup. Oh, it's freaking hot. There we got it. Alright, let's try it again. Woo! Hot metal on my arm. Alright. How we doing?
How you doing?
Alright, let's go over to the other side and see if I can see anything from that side that needs it. Or if everything's going horribly wrong. Seem to be in pretty decent position. One of the unfortunate things is I've already welded this brace here to this plate. So in order for me to take this plate out to weld all this in permanently, I got to take out the whole freaking lower cross member here and this mount. We'll worry about that later. Let's just get this tacked into where we can try to get stuff mounted. Alright, I think that's a crappy tacks, but I think it's secure enough that we can go ahead and try to get where we can mount this plate. So let's go figure that out. Let's go ahead and put a plate on our pedal bracket. What am I heading? We'll do it down here. Our pivot point is attached, but I think it's too short. So I may need to lengthen that before we can go further, but we'll see. let's just give her a quick test fit, see what we've done. This piece needs to come up and inside. Get in there. There we go. Now, my battery's getting ready to die, so I'll probably lose you. Come on, swing. There we go. The only problem is I'm hitting the pedal again with the linkage. Shoot. Alright, so if we put it right on there, let's put this pedal that way. There we go. So if we rest this onto the frame rail and bring it in square, we got about a 1/2 inch. Looks like I need 1 inch up. How's that looking there? Oh, come on, don't do this to me. Alright, we need something to sit in here on the frame rail for clearance. So this would be a little over 1/4 inch. Well, the battery died while I was trying to film that. This heat, the GoPros just don't last. Anyway, I went ahead and I ended up, after a lot, I shimmed up the brake pedals in place and thought where I thought they would be. After a lot of frustration trying to get the location worked out, what I needed to do, I ended up decided just moving the pedal plate up 3/4 inch. That'll get my pedal pivot part into the frame rail so it clears there. So I went ahead and tacked that together and decided it was a good time to go take a break for lunch, leftover pizza, because I put the pedals back on after I got the plate tacked into place, and I went to try to hook up the linkage, and can you see what I did wrong? Yeah, hang on, let me set my pizza down. See this? My clutch pedal is outside the car, and I can't, without lifting up the car or taking this off and redoing it, I can't get the pedal into position. So I'm gonna finish eating lunch, and then I gotta take those pedals off and put them back on with the clutch pedal inside the car this time.
Okay, none works. Let's see if we can.
Okay, pedals in. All right. Okay, I'm gonna have to take this linkage off, clean it up so I can adjust it. I'll be right back. Okay, so we got our linkage in. It is hitting here and kind of forcing the pedals over. Yeah, this way when it comes back. It's just barely hitting it though. It's not much, but you can see how it makes the pedals move a little bit. So we got to get that out of there. Obviously, this is not welded in yet permanently. It's just got a couple of tacks holding it. We can still bend that end of the bar down there just a little end to give it clearance here. I think we'll be all right there. I do want to brace this. I found this corner brace piece. I got 2 of them actually. They're off the 46 Ford. I don't know exactly what they were. Maybe motor mounts, I'm not positive. I don't know. Anyway, if I cut it from here to here, it is the right distance to fit in here and brace that. And it will still give me clearance to get into tightening my nuts on the back side of this. Let me get the other one. What I'm thinking is now, maybe I cut both these off, weld the first one in here to connect this plate and the transmission cross member. Fill that in, or cut it straight across, one or the other, make that connect. Would possibly give me a place to bolt to the transfer case here if needed, or just leave it in there like that for a brace. But then also use the other one and just weld it in right beside it, and that would make sure I have a good solid surface press against. I think that's what we're going to do. Alright, well, this is really hot. I don't want to touch it. But yeah, that seems to be working out. Ties this to this. Of course, once I go to take it all apart, I'll weld this in a lot sturdier. Finish welding all this, but for right now, we've got our pedals in, I think in a pretty good position. Here's our clutch. I like where it's at. I think there's still room to adjust if we have to. We're still recording. We got our brake pedal. That's going to be right about there. Gas pedal will be up in this area. Shifter. So we're in second. Output shaft is not spinning. Starts to spin right there. We're still about 3 inches off the floorboard. So we got plenty of space for the clutch. I might need to bend the end of the arm on the actuator to the clutch just a little bit over back this way to get some more clearance between the linkage and the pedal, or I might need to bend the pedal, but we're close enough now we can make that work. That feels like a pretty good position, even if we do channel it, which I'm still currently planning on channeling it, so I think we'll be good. Brake pedal should be in this area same. Hopefully there should be enough travel. I haven't checked the travel on my master cylinder, how much I need. Might need to do that soon. Yeah. Let's go down and look at the underneath there. Okay, you're looking straight up underneath the pedal mount assembly. This plate on the bottom. We are braced pretty good on the front. We need to do something back here maybe. I might need to put some kind of brace in. I will definitely put something in down here to tie this together. Same thing on this corner. I'll probably put a brace in somewhere in here as well. Again, we'll do that once we get when we take it all off to final weld it. We'll put that brace in there. So that seems to work. Now let's check our master cylinder. I guess first thing we should do is check to see how much travel we need. I wouldn't guess it's too much because we don't have a lot of travel on this arm. Got this retainer clip. We're going to take that off first so we don't get our push rod stuck in there, because we still got to modify our push rod to connect later. So if you don't know, this is a 67 Mustang drum master cylinder. Has proportioning valves built into it. On the end of the push rod that comes with it, it's got this little spring retainer clip that once you push the rod down into the bore, it won't allow the rod to pull out. That way it can't fall out and you'll lose your brakes. You want to put this on the last time you go to assemble it. Otherwise, you won't be able to get it out. So we need a measuring device. So let's see how far this travels. So at 0, we're at 5 3/8 to the flange. I knew that was going to happen. Okay, let's try this again. So to the flange, to the end of the push rod, it is just a smidge over 5 3/8. We need to shove this all the way in. All right, so it's down to 4 1/4. So the travel distance of my push rod has to be greater than 1 1/8. I think we got that. Let's go down there and check it. I left you guys up there. Come here. I got almost 3/4 inch clearance there. I think we'll be good. I don't think this is going to move that much at this end. Here's where my push rod comes through. When the pedal moves, it'll go forward. That's the pedal in the up position. So when you apply the pedal, it goes backwards and pushes the push rod into the master cylinder. So what we need to do is go up on top and check when the pedal is applied, how much travel are we getting. So for right now, let's put the pedal up even with the clutch, because that would be ideal, right? And then when we apply it, we still have more to go. Got about at least, I don't know, not a lot more, but we got a little more pedal to go. But we're hitting the bell housing on the block. We could bend this over so it doesn't do that. We'll worry about that later, but right now, if we are where we're at, how much do we get from there? We're at just under 1 1/4 inch travel, and I said I needed 1 1/8. So it's going to be really, really close. But again, I think I can gain some more down there by bending my pedal over. So, dare I say it? Have we succeeded in locating my mounts from my pedals? I know it's far from done, but I kind of feel my pedals are mounted. I'm really happy about the clutch. The clutch is doing good. I do need to put the bushings and spring back in the end of the pivot tube, but I also need to bend that arm just a little bit more, so we're not going to do that yet. But I think I'm going to call it a success at this point. Maybe? I mean, it's a mess and a conglomeration, but I think I can make it work. Let's see what we can do to add a little more bracing in here. Okay, so I started adding braces. I filled in a little corner here, threw in a little more weld. This is all nice and sturdy. It's not going anywhere for right now. The pedals seem to fit pretty well to where I want them to be. Clutch is kind of really nice. Be able to use it without too much trouble. I think the brake pedal will be, I don't want to hit it right now because nothing's really holding it in place. It's just going to fall if I do. Now I know I'm going to have to do a little more adjusting on my linkages. I'll have to bend the arm on my transfer bar a little bit over to get more clearance on that clutch linkage. But I want to do that after I fit it with the bushing and spring and everything in the end of it. So we'll do that later. My brake linkage, I will size that in at a later point when I go to do my brakes. I don't have the stuff I need to make my linkage right now, so I got to start sourcing that. I was going to go ahead and do my braces on the bottom of the mount and tie everything in together, and you know, so I'd have everything all laid out. But I almost did something stupid. I almost laid in, I was getting ready to cut in and weld a piece of steel that would have blocked access to some bolts that I need to mount it. So I don't want to rush it right now. It's good enough for my mock-up purposes, and then when I take it apart, I can final weld it and add my final braces once I do that. And it's not hurting anything to leave it without those braces for right now. So this one was a battle. trying to figure this out by yourself, trying to juggle all the pieces, parts, and the arms flopping around and everything. It's just a frustrating process to get these pedals in the right place. Looking where they're at, I'm really happy with the way they're kind of in place right now. I think everything feels pretty natural. I know I might need to do some tweaking and bending of the pedals and to get them in their final position. I also still need to get my steering column in here, and I might need to adjust something for that. So I think we're in good shape though, as far as being able to do that. We might need to, bend the pedal over and back up to get more room for the steering column. As you can see, where this originally, I think that's where the steering column went through. I'm kind of in there with this one, but we can bend this pedal over a little bit and then straighten it back up, so move it a little to the right. I don't, whatever we need to do at that time, but we got to get the column in there and start figuring that out first. Speaking of that column, I think that is the final big piece I need to get in on the chassis. Once I get that in, I can start cutting and fitting my boxing plates. So it's because I'll know where all of the access points I need to have on the inside of the frame. Other than that, I don't think I have any other big chassis things related to the frame that I need to get on there. I think everything is radiator. I got to do the radiator mount too. So that's the other one. Because I think I might have to cut into my front cross member and drop it, but that won't prevent me from going ahead and doing my boxing plates. So, that doesn't have to be done yet. So, that said, I guess that's the next project. Thank you for watching, liking, commenting, and subscribing. I know this video was kind of a repeat of last week because basically I was just trying to figure out how to make my pedal mounts again for the third and fourth time to get them right. Fourth time was the charm apparently. But so still, thank you for watching. If you're still following along and trying to see if I'm ever going to finish this thing, and I know it's going to be a long process. I'm not like the other channels. I don't have room to have multiple cars and different projects going. Just plodding along my 2017 hot ride. That's all I can do. In the meantime, thank you for watching, subscribing, commenting, hitting that like button. Anything you can do to help the channel grow. We're slowly adding subs, but maybe someday we'll break that magic 1,000 mark and start moving up in the YouTube food chain. All that said, I do appreciate it. So I guess next time, I've been putting it off long enough, I gotta start addressing the steering column. And that was my welding mask. Nice. I guess I gotta start addressing a steering column in this beast and figuring out where that's gonna go. I gotta do that with some forethought in mind because I haven't channeled the body yet, and I gotta figure out the angle of my column. Hopefully I can at least get it in there to where I know where the box is going to be, and I have enough room to tilt it and then just not drill the final mounting holes for the flange. I don't know. We'll see when we get there. So until then, YouTube, later.